Hi there, and welcome to Malmare, one of Indonesia's premier diving locations. This virtual tour has been captured in full 360, which means you are free to look around and explore as we take you on this journey. Simply click and drag on the screen, or use the video player's built-in controls to move the camera around. Maumere is home to dozens of dive sites, with more being discovered every day. It's a port town in a large bay on the northeastern coast of Flores, East Nusa Tenggara. The town is well connected by air, with flights arriving from Kupang, Denpasar and Makassar. We're in Nanggala Harbour and we're about to board a wooden boat to head out into the bay. Maumere Bay encompasses the whole area around Malmare town, stretching all the way east to Tanjung Darat. The bay has around 30 coral-filled dive sites, and most can be reached all year round. In this virtual tour, we will visit 3 dive sites. The first is off the southern part of Pangabatana Island. The second is off Barbie Island, and the third is Tanjung Darat. The first dive site we're visiting is around 35 minutes by boat from the port of Pangabatana. This tiny island and the Tanjung Darat area form a narrow opening to the bay, considered to be the gate of Maumere Bay. We're arriving at our first dive site in the southern part of Pangabatana Island. On this dive, we're planning to go down to a depth of around 35 metres. As you can see, this dive site has beautiful clear water and a stunning coral garden. The coral reef here slopes down to 30 metres before forming a sandy plateau. Because of its location, the current here is strong on this dive site, so it's best to just relax, let go and allow the water to guide you through your dive, across the reef. If you look down, you can see a steep wall of coral continuing into the depths. This wall is covered with huge Gorgonian fans, whip corals, sea fans, green corals, and soft and hard corals. The coral reef is critical to supporting fish life in our oceans. Here you can see there are thousands of small fish, shoaling and schooling. The term shoaling refers to a behaviour by a group of fish that stays loosely together in one place. Then, if the group is swimming in the same direction in a coordinated way, they're now said to be schooling. Schools of fish are usually the same species of the same age and size. It's time to start returning to the surface. We'll make a short safety stop at a depth of 5 metres before returning to the boat. This is to help our body decompress, but it also gives us time to explore the coral garden and to take a closer look at the macro life amongst the coral. Our second dive site is Barbie Island, or Pig Island. It's not far from Pangabatana and is a beautiful site for snorkeling as well as diving, due to its clear water and shallow coral garden. We're going to head down to around 30 metres deep on this dive. In 1992, the island was hit by an earthquake. The quake here caused a tsunami and 2 villages were washed away by waves that reached nearly 10 metres high. The deadly wave destroyed 18,000 homes and killed nearly 1,700 people. If you look closely on the reef, you can see a 70 centimetre wide, 12 metre length crack that was caused by the earthquake. After 30 years, the table coral and other hard corals growing here has started to mend that gap, but if you swim on top of it, you can still see down into the inner structures of the reef. We're now at a depth of around 18 to 20 metres, and it's dark because we're under this huge coral. From here on the sand, we're at the epicentre of the earthquake. Look around and you can see the earthquake crack from below. It's time to head back towards the boat. We're going to do a safety stop for 3 minutes at 5 metres, and then we're going to head to the surface. Arriving at Tanjung Darat, we're preparing to go back down. As it's the third dive of the day, we'll be going a little shallower on this one, stopping at around 20 metres deep. This dive site also suffered damage from the 1992 earthquake and tsunami. However, it's also recovered. The mini wall in the shallows here is covered with coral, and below lies a large plateau where you can still see rubble and large chunks of dead hard coral, a reminder of the 1992 damage. This dive site is good for shark sightings, and if you're a qualified deep diver, you might even be lucky enough to explore further down and spot a hammerhead. It's time to return to the surface and do our safety stop. On the shallow part of the reef here, you can see two Nemo or clownfish hanging around the reef. The anemone it lives in provides protection and defence for the clownfish. Meanwhile, the clownfish cleans up unwanted parasites and drops morsels of food into the anemone's mouth. This is called a symbiotic relationship, and it's where one animal relies on another to survive and thrive. As we ascend, you can also see schools of fish, soft corals, hard corals, and big sponges. Alright, it's now time to make our way back to the surface and head back to the boat. With around 30 dive sites across the bay,
Maumere has it all.
Drift dives, sloping coral reefs, drop-offs, and even shipwrecks. Thanks for joining us on this virtual tour.